I just paused. Just have a look at them. I paused. I want to give you a lesson.
Yeah. Give us a lesson.
When you cough, go like this. Watch this. I'm going to cough. Watch me cough. That doesn't get recorded. If you mute yourself.
Is it backwards?
Hi.
Hey, is it backwards because you're recording now?
Oh, we are. Welcome to the Mail-Right Real Estate Agent Show, episode 30. It's December 23rd, almost the night before Christmas, and we're here for you for that information on real estate and how to make an agent productive in 2016. Oh my, the sound came back. So anyway, Jonathan, we're going to go over some of the basics like making a business plan and setting objectives and goals. We've already talked a little bit offline. One of the first objectives is to get Karen on this show. And even if she's just listening in or monitoring, get her into the mood when she's available. And other real estate agents will tune in the Reno area, maybe.
You're going to try and get her in the mood, are you, Bill?
Thanks.
Yeah, that's going to be hard, I think.
We're recording this time.
Yeah.
This is our second start. I forgot to hit the record button.
I think that's going to be difficult. But let's attempt this. Let's get in the mood, shall we, Bill?
I'm already in the mood.
Yeah, we're in the mood
from this morning's show. In between.
To get serious, folks. So we had a great guest on last week. We had Craig
McDaniel.
I always butcher his name, and he really suggested. Because, as I was saying to Bill offline, I'm not so anti-Zillow as maybe Craig is to some extent. I think it should be part of your marketing plan if you can afford it. But Craig also gave some really great resources. What was he up to? Some great resources about how to generate leads from other companies that offer what Craig thought were better quality leads at a much better price. But we're still looking at around $200 a month. So what do I think you should be doing if you're an agent? Obviously, over the past episodes, we've talked about open housing, knocking on doors, the traditional kind of model that if you haven't got a large budget and you're trying to build up your farm of contacts and networking, also going to local networking, we've discussed that. So, but what I'm going to do, folks, is look at three main things that I think as an agent you've got to really concentrate. That's really going to make a difference in 2016. And I think number one is have a website, folks. Have something that's branded that you control, that isn't controlled by your broker or anybody else. Have some form of website presence that you can brand and you've got some control over. I would say that was number one. What do you reckon, Bill?
Yeah, you have to have some type of website, and it should be a good website. And we're going to look at a couple other websites offline. We'll talk about those. And Karen's got more of a blog site. It's one of our podcast site that we frameworks that we've turned into hers, and I think she gets some good SEO off of it. But we'll continue to work on it.
Yeah, I think if you're starting out, having a blog site, as Bill calls it, is totally fine. At least you're starting somewhere. I also feel another thing that's related to website, folks, is sort out your Google local search page. Basically, fill all the information up that it requires. Make sure you've got some really good pictures on it. If you can put some video up, that's really good, but overfill it up and make sure that like every quarter, you go back to it and you change something on it. And if you want to, or if you can, post some of the content that you're putting on your website onto your Google local page as well. That's really important. Anybody that's doing a local search under your name, it's going to be, if it's filled up, it's going to be one of the resources that show up. Secondly, if people do kind of general searches, it doesn't always happen. Google are consistently changing this. But if you do like a search for like Reno real estate agent, the map sometimes shows where you got the little icons that show where our agent is. One of the tips with your Google local search is you've got to have a physical website, and it really shouldn't be your broker address. One of the reasons why agents don't do this, Bill, is they haven't got a physical address, or they don't want to use their home address. And what's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I've done this before, and it's a true story. In between deployments to Afghanistan, Karen consolidated and moved to PMZ, which is a really nice company. And I set up her business address, and they get a little postcard in the mail back then. And she never followed up on the postcard. All it took was like one simple little put in the code. But it's really good actually to have your broker's address with your name on it, because then when people sort of look for that broker, it's got your name popping up right there. Like Chase has got 30, 40 agents assigned to their address.
Yeah, I do follow your logic, but I think my only concern about that is that it's branded to you, and if you ever move brokers, you've got to go through all the mechanics of changing the address and getting it ratified by Google.
I just dropped in the link to do that.
Yeah.
If you look at it with video.
Yeah. So I don't totally agree with you there. But I understand that agents don't want to use their home address. So it's a difficult one, because unfortunately, folks, you can't use a postal box address. Google won't accept that. So unless you can find some physical address that you legitimately can use, you're in a slight bind. So if that is the scenario, you probably are better to use your broker's physical address. But if you can have a separate physical address, I suggest that it might be a better idea to use that.
Let's make a full disclosure here. In the real estate business, my wife's a broker in 2 states, and they vary in the laws, of course. But for example, in California, if you have a primary business address, and if you're doing address out of other locations, like in Southern California, Northern California, you have to give the DRE those addresses. Just a reminder. So always check with your Department of Real Estate in your state to make sure you're compliant with the address. And that should also help you with Google. You want to have the same. I would say you'd want to register with your real estate department or verify even your Google address.
Yeah. And thank you, Bill. That was fantastic, and I appreciate you saying that. The other thing, folks, is when you fill in that Google page, there's a number of free directory sites which you don't actually have to pay money to put your basic details in, like Merchant Circle, Yellow Pages. It's best to do a search about the most popular ones around real estate, and make sure that you manually put the same details that you put in your Google page into some of those, because the way Google rates local search is done in a slightly different way than national search. They actually give more credence to these kind of directory websites around local search much more than they do national. So filling in the free part of Yellow Pages, Merchant Circle, Yelp, there's half a dozen of them. It can be beneficial, but you've got to make sure that the details all match consistently, right? So that's like kind of linked to your website. Sort out your Google local page and some of your directory sites, and have some form of website. So we put those as tip number 1, right? That you really should get sorted out in 2016. So I think we're going for our first break, folks. So I'll hand it over to my co-host, Bill Conrad.
So
Hey, this is Bill. We're back for a commercial break, and the assistant producer is on because we didn't record the first side, and she truly is the assistant producer. Hi, Roxanne.
Hey.
Back to the commercial. I'm going to mute you there because I know you're busy.
Yeah, she's gone.
So that was our assistant, and she truly is assistant producer, and that's a whole different other thing that we do with the production. But anyway, going on for a commercial, let's talk about Mail-Right, and we're going to actually record the commercials and get them better there, Jonathan. But real fast, what should I say? Mail-Right does a lot of stuff.
Well, giving you a script, Bill. Why don't you use it?
And I'll use it. I'll record it ahead of time. So if you're fed up with Zillow and you want to get some good SEO, just go talk to Jonathan. Call Jonathan on the phone and talk to him.
I'll read it out.
What's your phone number? No, I'm not going to read it.
Oh, goodness gracious. You asked for written.
And I don't. No, I'll record it and get it knocked out because I want to work on this ad.
So shall I do it, folks? Basically, if you're fed up with giving Zillow a load of money, folks, why don't you consider getting more referrals from the people that should really love you, which is your local network? But how are you doing keeping in touch online with the people that know you the best, your local community? Probably not that too good. So for a really reasonable price, we can promote you regularly to your biggest fan club, which are the people that have used you and know you and trust you. So if that's interesting, come to mail-right.com and we're there to help you. Mail-right.com. Yeah.
So anyway, pretty good. I was just thinking when you said that, if your clientele is over 70, write them a nice Christmas card.
I'm going to take this offline to have a discussion with you, Bill.
We just got our Christmas cards out.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying it's that whole business. It is good though. I mean, I know that Karen is there's a lot of things that Mail-Right does. You can't, it's probably when you're in sales and marketing, you can't explain everything it does. It does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And truly, but one thing it does, it posts onto Karen's Facebook professional page, which most real estate agents don't put enough effort into it.
And I want to be brutally frank about this, actually, folks. I'm going to say something really controversial. What we help is, because in some ways it is not worthwhile spending an enormous amount of time on your Facebook page. That's really outrageous for me to say that, folks.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What I mean by it, it's not really important that you as an agent really spend an enormous amount of time on engagement with your Facebook page, because the amount of people that will see your posts are quite small. But why is it important to keep having content on it? Well, there's two factors, folks. One, if new people are checking you out and they see that your business page is totally inactive, that's really going to be a bad mark for you. The second thing is, and the even more important area, is that you need a Facebook business page if you're going to do Facebook paid advertisement. And if I'll be going on to this in a second. This is one of the big things I suggest that should be in your marketing plan for 2016. So it's a two-edged sword, folks. You do need a Facebook page, but the reason why I'm going to go into more detail during this show. But to reverse back, Bill pointed out a really excellent point. I've talked about the website, the Google local page, and the local directories, but I'm going to classify this in all point one, is that also you want to sort out your own YouTube channel. We've discussed over a number of weeks why in 2016 video is going to be the year of the video, and video for Facebook, video for your YouTube channel, video for Twitter. It's all going to become really, really important in 2016. So sort out your YouTube channel. I'm going to go on to point two now.
Hey, Jonathan, before you go on, I want to mention something.
Yep, sure.
Hold on. I want to go back to that, what Mail-Right does, and something that I've just seen, and I don't know if you've noticed this, if you go incognito and you type in Karen Conrad, 2 words, I don't know if it'll do it for you because it is somewhat IP dependent in your city, even if it's incognito. If you go Karen Conrad, the second thing that comes up right now is Karen Conrad, Chase International Real Estate, Facebook.
Yeah.
That's a pro page. And the only reason that's doing that is because your system is constantly loading stuff on that. And it's actually getting more, they've got a name for it, like hits or sites.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of a believer that, and Karen is seeing that too.
Yeah, well, that's the other excellent point. So I'm going to go on to point 2.
So why does that do that?
I like to combine it with point 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Point 2, what's important? A strategy for your social media. And I mean by strategy, just don't do it when you've got a spare moment. Have a real strategy of how you're going to utilize social media so it really helps you. Basically, what I was saying on Bill was also the third reason why having a Facebook page is important is, unlike your personal profile, your Facebook page is indexed by Google. And I want to repeat that. Your personal profile is not indexed by Google. Your Facebook page is indexed by Google. And that's another really important point why you need regular content on it, and putting a little bit of your own personal stuff mixed with MailRite, like 2/3 MailRite, 1/3 your own content, is a lovely mixture. But the other point is that your Facebook page will be looked over by prospective sellers. And secondly, and this is why I'm bringing it up, it is crucial, I feel, as an agent to utilize paid Facebook advertisement. It does vary depending on the area that you're operating in. Craig was a little bit not so up for Facebook because he's in one of the most competitive and expensive areas where Google AdWords or Facebook advertisement is enormously expensive. But if I was Craig in the East Bay area, what I would be looking at is Twitter advertisement. I would be looking to utilize Twitter and Twitter paid advertisement for my online dollars, because it's still an immature market, but still really powerful in certain metropolitan areas. And definitely San Francisco and the Bay Area is an area where you can utilize Twitter very effectively. So working out a consistent social media strategy in 2016 and how you're going to combine that with paid advertisement is really important. How was that, Bill?
That was really good. And, I definitely have learned more about the idea of your business site being indexed by Google. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But I'll tell you what, I've put up a few Facebook ads around open houses. So it's really hard to measure that, but I think it maybe gave us a little bit more zap too. And likes help too. She's got like 35 likes. So if everyone goes to KarenConrad.com, I totally pro page and like it.
Yeah, all right. I totally understand why you used it for that. I personally myself don't think that was the best usage of advertising on Facebook, but I think 2 other ways that are quite powerful is if you've got a listing, you do a kind of pre-official listing campaign using Facebook paid advertisement where you say, this is just about to come on the market, because it's got that feeling that you've got this like little secret that you're giving to the in crowd of your Facebook page. So through paid advertisement, I would do a pre-listing advertisement using Facebook advertisement. The second area where I would use paid advertisement, which is combined to MailRite, folks, is our system gets you a lot more positive reviews that you can utilize for various factors. And one of the factors is using those positive reviews on a Facebook paid advertisement campaign, because it doesn't really matter what you say about yourself. It's what about other people say about you. And if you get a really fantastic review, a testimonial through our system, you should use it on your as part of your Facebook paid advertisement campaign. You know, highlighting what somebody else is saying about you. That's powerful. So there are two ideas that I would utilize for my paid Facebook advertisement. And how much was it, Bill, roughly, for you to do some Facebook
you budget out your money, and I just did like day ads before the open houses, trying to populate people on Facebook around the open house to come and visit it.
Yeah.
It's about $20 a shot.
Yeah,
and it shows you how much you use, and it is, you know, maybe one day it's $4.80, and you can geographically push that down. Hey, I do have another question I'm looking at here. I'm thinking,
yeah.
Let's see. What was it on market? Oh, this is crazy, but successful real estate agents really spend 90% of their time marketing to people to get listings. So anything you do, when you get a listing in a community or a house, we used to send out 500 postcards around the house, inviting the neighbors to come in ahead of time on a Thursday or Friday to see the house before the sign goes up on Saturday. And then the open house is on Sunday. So sitting at something like that is similar to what you said, but think about this. You're really marketing to the people in the community to get more listings. And if you get a listing and you really put out a 500 cards and you do the right open houses and you make the relationships with the people in that community, you're going to get another listing in that same area. It almost always, maybe two. And so it really builds on itself. That's why Karen getting restarted over here has taken some time. Half of her business came from personal farm, but the other half typically came from that model I just told you, where we sent the postcard and you get another.
But what I'm saying, Bill, is the essence of what you've just said, you just do it, but you do it on a different medium, Facebook.
Yep. Hey, let's take a 2-second break, and you can talk to our guests who are watching. We've got our good group here. We've got our executive producer up there keeping us on the line. And I'm going to go pause and see if we can find Karen. I'm going to bring her on in her book. She probably won't, but I'll try.
Yeah, let's get Karen on.
There it goes. There's that jet. That's Santa in his jet. Anyway, quick commercial from netcasting101.com. That's the new show that I haven't finished yet. That's a training series. And basically what we're working on is just showing you how to go from in the morning, you do the quick blab, you go to YouTube, and then an hour later, you're done with iTunes, and you've got it all up in one place on a post. So that's it. That's my commercial. Merry Christmas. Go sell houses.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I'm going to go on to my final point, folks, and that's called consistency. I think this is the biggest point I've got to make, funny enough, of all the points I've made in this episode, folks, and also last week with Craig. These are all great ideas, great information that Craig had last week. I hope we've given you some insights this week as well but none of this is going to work without consistency. And it's one of the failings of all of us, especially if you're a busy agent with multiple hats, dealing with multiple tasks, is things tend to slip and things tend to be put on the back burner as you get busy. It's totally understandable, but none of this is going to work in just doing it for a couple of weeks. This ain't going to work if you just do it for 1 month. This you got to have consistently, week in, week out, month in, month in. And if you do, and you have a plan and you stick to it religiously so it becomes a habit, becomes an ingrained habit that you post so many times on Facebook, you use a scheduler, you're using Facebook paid advertisement, you're sorting out your website, you got a monthly, a quarterly, and a 6-month calendar of the things that you need to look at, and you read that calendar, consistency will come. And it's the main problem why a lot of agents do not succeed is they don't have consistency. They don't stick to the job. And that is what you got to really learn, is you got to have consistency. What do you reckon, Bill?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why it's so difficult leaving like Modesto, California, because over 20 years, from starting from the new subdivisions to building the houses and relationships, you have consistency and you build that up. But when you leave, unless you have someone there behind you taking over for you, or if you pass it on to your daughter or kids, it's all that work you built up, but absolutely consistency. And they will add advertisement is, it's a hard thing. The worst thing you can do is just to go shotgun everywhere. I mean, we've done that. Everyone's guilty of that. I think the biggest guilt we had was in Home Depot, putting the ad and the picture in there in the cart when they used to push them around. But you've got to figure out your niche and then build slowly onto it. And you can blow a lot of money, but you have to take some of your money. I'd say take 10% of all your commissions and throw them back into advertising and marketing, at least 10.
And
15.
I think the other beautiful thing about online advertisement, Facebook, Zillow, the other resources that Craig spoke about, is that you can monitor them. You can clearly see what kind of return on investment you're getting. You can even do that with blogging. You can write down how many hours you did on it. Yeah. Blogging just for blogging's sake, you will not get a return. You've really got to have, and we're probably going to talk about this maybe in some other episode, is utilizing Google. If you set up a Google AdWords account, you don't have to use it, but then you get access to the Google SEO research tool, which is free. Okay. And doing some basic keyword research and then having a blogging strategy probably is going to get much better results for you than just the scattered gun approach.
So, Jonathan, as we finish up until next week, before the first of the year, yeah, we'll have everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and I'd like just to say what we're going to do next week. It's going to be end of the year, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to breeze through all the kind of online tools that I think would be really useful to agents, free, inexpensive tools. And I'll probably have about 15 to 20 different online services, tools. That's probably why Karen's gone off on shopping.
No post-production, yeah. That's good. Anyway, let's leave it open for the folks listening, because we have a little discussion afterward on blab.im. And that's we're going to be every Wednesday at 4:30 Pacific.
Oh, thanks, Rob. I also wish you and your family a really peaceful and happy Christmas, Rob.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's just got one of those, those voices is like, it's just a perfect. It's a great voice.
Yeah, for sure. Carlos, where in Georgia are you? I forgot.
I am 3 miles from where Jimi Hendrix played at the largest audience ever. 3 miles from here was the Atlanta Pop Festival.